Hey guys, so we are doing Cycle 2 Science Script Week 18, and we're going to be talking about simple machines today. So it is for inclined planes and screws. So the things that you will need for this, you will need to bring from home um, everyday products that you use all the time that kids may not realize have simple machines attached to them. So screwed lids are what I would like you to bring. Anything that you want based off of, Renee, you have an all-girls group, so things like lipsticks, chapsticks, makeup, things that they see all the time. Anything that you think would be fun for the kids, they're gonna get to try it out, kind of test it, see, a variety of different things. So you've got like a chapstick for one that's gonna be different than this kind of a lid. But the basic gist of it is to show them that we use screws in more than just what you think your dad uses to help build things. This is a screw. This is also a screw, just to show kids that we use these simple machines to help us do things every single day. So that is something you will need. You're going to bring, whether you want gel food coloring or regular liquid food coloring, you're basically wanting to dye your water blue, and you'll see why we're doing that in a little bit. You also want some sort of pitcher or something to pour water in. You want water in here, and you want it dyed blue. So you'll have that to the side for now. You're also going to have, this is called an Archimedes screw. Because they're so bulky, I will just bring them and give them to you on week 18's morning. That way you have it, rather than sticking this in your tutor bin and having it taking up all that space. So this will be already made for you and ready to go week 18 in the morning. You're going to need to bring from home, or we will kind of talk over the next few weeks, and I'm sure we've either got Tupperware containers or you can bring them from home. You need 3. So you need 1 for the bottom, and then you need 2 like this. 1 needs to have a lid so you can set the other one on top. This is how they're going to look kind of spaced apart, but you need 3. And let me look over here. You also are going to have some pictures attached like this. And there's the pictures to give examples of inclined ramps, the anatomy of a screw. You're going to talk about the different parts of a screw. It's also going to show you a picture of an actual Archimedes screw to show the kids what that looks like as well. And then trying to go through here and see, I think that's everything. So we start with scientific method, and then in this lesson, I really tried to break it down a lot. There are a lot of questions in this lesson, and the reason for that is it's not that it's a complicated subject, but it is complicated in trying to break it down for all age levels to understand. There's a lot of questions, and it's just that I want to be very thorough with this kind of scientific information so everybody gets it. So you're going over simple machines. So we're starting at the basics of, what do you think a machine is? Because typically when kids think machines, they think a robot. They think your dishwasher. They think, your standard everyday machines. In this method, we're talking about basically anything that is helping you do something with less force. So we go over that. We talk about, well, what is force? What does that mean? You talk about gravity as a force. Do you guys remember what gravity does? And then there are some examples. Have the kids give some examples of what they think force is. How do they use force in their everyday lives? I have made sure that with every question, if there are examples, I've listed some to kind of help you. So we go through that. Let's see, work. What's work mean in this sense? Sometimes kids will think work means what dad does or what mom does. But we give it in the scientific term of what work means. And some examples like mowing the lawn, pushing a stroller, that's work because you are pushing or pulling something through force. How do you describe distance? So we use the word distance all the time, but what does distance actually mean? Talk about that. Then we start going into, once we've done all of those terms, you need all of those terms, and to understand all of those terms, to understand what is an inclined plane and what is a screw and what do they do? How are they helpful to us? An inclined plane, ask the kids, what do you think that means? What is that? Then we've got some pictures. So the whole idea behind the pictures is this right here, the ramp for the moving truck, is an inclined plane. Why is that helpful? What is that doing? Why does that make work easier but also it helps it be more efficient. Why do you think that is? Trying to get the kids to really think. There's a lot of analyzing and questions in this lesson this week. An escalator. You use an escalator all the time. You did not realize that that's actually an inclined plane. Why is that helpful? Here is the anatomy of a screw. It just talks about, you'll see why that's helpful when we do our Archimedes screw project, but kind of help kids understand what a screw is. What does it do? This next one, this will show you, this is the Archimedes screw that we will be creating a model out of. So there's those pictures in there for you. So we've talked about, we go through an inclined plane, then we go through what a screw does, why is it helpful. Then you get to build an Archimedes screw. So that is what this guy is. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your dyed water and you're going to fill this first Tupperware halfway full of water. You're going to take it like that, set that to the side. You're going to take this end here, there should be a shorter end on your Archimedes screw, that is your scoop, to scoop the water. So you're going to put it at an angle here, and then what I would do here is start having the kids hypothesize. What do you think is going to happen? This is a screw. So in the lesson that we will have already talked about, a screw has two sets of movement. Linear, which is a straight line, but it also has rotational movement. So based off of knowing what that does, what do you think it's going to do when we stick this end in here, but it's poking out up here? What do you think is going to do? So you stick it in like this, and you start to move it and scoop it, and the reason we have that dark blue is the kids get to watch the water work its way up the screw. And this is what an Archimedes screw does. Now what's cool about an Archimedes screw is it really helps in irrigation, which actually they call it the Egyptian screw, because this is, in a more modern form, this is what Egyptians used to do to help with irrigation. So then, now what you're going to do, you can see the water's coming up the screw and into the other Tupperware, but now what we're going to do is we're going to try some different methods. So if we raise it up even higher, what's it going to do now? How long is it faster? Does it come out faster? You raise it lower, does it work still? Just some different methods, try some different things. You could even take the tape off if you wanted on some of these coils, try and coil it tighter, looser. Just try some different methods of how we could try this water going through here. So then once you have done that, try and put this here. Once you have done that, you can start talking about your conclusions and analysis of what happened. And I finished with a biblical application, just to kind of bring it all back to the Lord, which is the focus of why we are here in the first place. And that verse is, "Let us hold resolutely to the hope we profess, for he who is promised is faithful." Hebrews 10:23. And the reason that verse stuck with me was because we're learning about screws as part of our simple machines, and they are something that helps hold things tightly. They help things solidify. They help things stay strong and strong. You know, it's stronger than a nail because of those grooves. We use these all the time for strength, stability, security. But as a Christian, Christ is that for us. And that he is our hope. He is the one that is our strength, that is our stability, that is our security, the one that we look to in our day-to-day lives. No matter what we face, we can trust in him. And we finish with saying, because he is that hope, because he is that for us, we can say with King David in the Psalms, "My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever." So that is week 18, Simple Machines.